back to everything in between. I'm here with Steve. He's been agoraphobic for 16 years, and we're going to hear his story. So, Steve, wherever you want to start.
Hello, Mike. Thanks for letting me talk. I think the best place for me to start is at the very beginning. My childhood was a good childhood. I wasn't abused in any way, nothing. I had a good childhood. The one time I can remember with my childhood was when I was about 14, 15, when I thought I had a big pair of bollocks and I hit my sister, give her a little clout, just a smack, just a small smack. And I remember my dad grabbing hold of me up against the wall, giving me a slap and saying, never hit the girls, never hit girls, because it's wrong. And he was angry about it, because I was brought up in a part of London where you respected women and you've done everything you possibly can to protect them from everything. That had come into clarity throughout the story. I went on and I moved from London and I moved to Eastbourne in East Sussex. I got with a woman, got married, had 4 children, and through that marriage I kept my wife on a pedestal. I've done everything for her, looked after her financially, everything. Never let her want for nothing. But through the marriage, there was abuse. I had a lot of physical abuse from her. I would have things thrown at me, things smashed over my head, and some things were just horrendous. Like, I've always shaved my head, and one day I come home from work, had my shower, shaved my head, and that day the kids had pissed my ex-wife off, and I'm sitting there with a raw head. I'm sitting there having a cup of tea, and all of a sudden I feel a burning sensation on my head, and it literally scalding. And I had to leg it upstairs, put my head down the car seat, flush the chain, and it was still burning. And it come to light that she had tipped nail varnish remover all over my head. So it's like an acidy sort of burn. The violence went on, and I just bide by it. Do you know what I mean? I'll just stand there and just take it.
Right.
Continuously just take it. Then all of a sudden, I got a phone call from my brother. And he told me that he had been diagnosed with cancer. And of course we rallied round and everything. And then he got over it. Then all of a sudden he got it back again, but this time worse. And he was referred to the Marsden Hospital in London, Surrey, in Surrey.
All right.
And we was told by the consultant that it was terminal. And my brother at the time was only 27.
Jeez.
And I remember going in the room with him. He was a big man. He was a really big man. But to look at him laying in that bed from 18, 19 stone to about 8, 7 stone, laying in that pit, he turned around to me and said, "Can you be here when I go?" And I promised him. I said to the boy, "I won't leave you. I won't leave you." So I stayed up there, and the nurse come in and started giving him morphine intravenously. So it was a sort of a euthanasia. And all of a sudden, I got a phone call from my missus at the time. Said, you've got to come back. There's major problems going on, the kids and everything like that. So I jumped into a taxi, got back home, and it was a load of old bollocks. Nothing. Just couldn't handle the kids. So I was sitting there. I thought, I'll have a cup of tea and I'll go back up there. Then all of a sudden, my nephew rang me and said to me, Darren had just passed. So my promise was broken. I wasn't there for him when he died. From then, I went into a real depression. I remember lying in bed, all of a sudden heard one of my girls screaming. So I'd done what any parent would do. I'd dart out, run downstairs. And my ex-wife at the time was flicking her with a towel and slapping her. I got in between, as I always do. Told my daughter to go to bed, just get out of the room, I'll deal with it. And all she had done was broke the dishwasher, unloading it. But my wife just went gung-ho and everything. Shortly after that, I was lying in bed and she told me to F off. I don't want you here no more. And of course I just went because I was so depressed. Then the court battle started. And remember, I was still suffering with depression then. And I was made out to be the complete and utter bastard. By her, by the social services, by everything. Even though the kids vouched for me and said not to me, but to the court's representatives and the social services, that Dad never did nothing. He was always, the good parent sort of thing. They still took heed of my ex-wife. Everybody did. Made me out to look a right horrible person and a liar and everything. We went to court, done all that. Shortly before the main trial hearing, there was a meeting held at the social services, and I couldn't attend. And I received a phone call after the meeting from a social worker and said to me, Steve, we owe you an apology. I said, well, what's happened? He said, we've seen your ex-partner in a different light. He explained to me that in the meeting, she went completely berserk, jumped over the table to attack the social worker as well as the chair of the meeting. He apologised to me, but all the other social workers and everybody else just blanked me, even though they knew the truth. So I let it go. I end up getting the children. I got residency of the children because none of them wanted to be with their mum. I looked after all my children on my own. Put them through school, done everything for them. By the time 2 of my children left school, I started feeling like a weight had come off me, completely come off my shoulders. And I started walking about and started getting very anxious, nervous. And I don't know what it was. Whenever I used to go into a shop or walk down the street, as I would just be so panicky as before. I've always been a very gung-ho person, chest out, broad, never gave a monkey's about anything. So I left it. I just carried on with life. I thought it was just, it's just probably a headache or a migraine or something. I don't know, some bollocks. And one day I was in Tesco Express, and I ordered, I don't know, I went to the counter, I went up there with about £5 or £6 worth of groceries, and I come over really, really queer. I remember giving a score over and not taking the change. It was only about a few quid, and I left the rest of it for the cashier to keep. I just had to get out of that store. I darted home, and then from that day I never ventured out, not even to go in the back garden, the front garden, or put the rubbish out, nothing. This went on for about 6 years. Yeah, about 6 years. Then I met my current partner, and she comes from a different part of the country, and we started talking and all that. And we got on marvellously, absolutely marvellously. And that was good for the first 5 years. You know what I mean? She loved being treated like a princess.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But then it changed, you know what I mean? She had a brain, what do they call it? Hemorrhage on the brain. And her mannerism and everything changed towards everything, to the point now I'm suffering from emotional abuse from her, as well as psychological abuse. I've been told to report it and whatever, but I can't do it to her. I can't. So I just take it all the time. When your condition gets demoralised by a person who knows your condition, it just rips you a new arsehole. It just, when you get told you don't want to go out because you're scared, you're a pussy. I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong, but it's, I don't know. And that's where I am at the moment. I'd say I've been agoraphobic for 16 years. I've been diagnosed with so many labels, be it agoraphobia, OCD, social anxiety. They reckon I've got PTSD as well. But labels I don't agree with. I don't like labels. I do not like labels.
Yeah.
But that's where I stand at the moment.
I just want to say, when you were talking about your brother, I don't know if I've ever cried during a podcast before, but just imagining that happening, and you know, as soon as you said your wife at the time called you back, I sort of kind of figured where that was going, and that just sounds horrible. And you said he was a big man, so it sort of seems to me like, you know, what you perceived to be strength in the world was ripped away from you. And you know,
Thing is, I don't like to break promises. If I say I'll do something, I will do my utmost to do it. And that was a thing my brother wanted me to do, is be there for when he passed. And that feeling of letting him down and not being there just kicked the shite out of me.
The only thing I can think to say to something like that is, like, you know, he's still with you.
Yeah.
He's in your heart, and you know.
Oh yeah, I know he is there.
And I'm sure he's been with you there the whole time.
Yeah, God willing.
I think, you know, I don't think you failed him, you know. I really don't. I think this was a really evil set of circumstances that was out of your control. And I mean, a part of me would say, at least for me, I would be I don't know, I associate the moon with things like that, and I would look up in the moon and think that he's just there with me looking at it, or maybe even looking back from it. But I think he's there with you at all times.
I was there. I was in the hospital. I think it was about 5 or 6 days. I was in that hospital with him. You know what I mean? He had morphine going into him automatically, and also he had like a trigger in his hand that he can do a self boost, or whatever you call it, of morphine. So it was a sort of euthanasia thing. And watching him completely deteriorate, which is not a pleasant thing for anybody to see. It's not a pleasant thing. But I had to grow a pair of balls and stay there, purely as that was his wish. Well, the last thing really he ever said to me. Be there, can you be there for when I pass? You know what I mean? He was a big man. He was my baby brother. He was my baby brother. But he was a big man. A big man. He was even bigger than me at the time. You know what I mean? He used to do the gyms. He used to do personal security. You know what I mean? He was a hard man. Hard man. But watching from someone go from that to like an old man lying in the bed, and it was heart-wrenching. Absolutely heart-wrenching. You know what I mean? It's just...
Yeah.
And when that phone call had come, I couldn't Adam and Eve it. I could not Adam and Eve it. Like, I don't know. It was just one of them things that has played in my mind for donkeys and donkeys of years. And ever since that, I forgot to say. From that day, I always had, and I still get it now when my anxiety's rife, because I suffer with insomnia. And sometimes I can go 50 hours without a kip. I'm just running on pure anxiety. What's it, not a job's word? And when I do go to sleep, I only seem to sleep for about 2, 3, 4 hours at the max. And then I wake up because since my brother's passing, I've had a reoccurring dream. And I've tried to have it analysed. Well, I've tried to analyse it, and I've asked professionals to say, but they can't get the grips of it. I'm about 5, 6 years of age. I'm looking out of my bedroom window at an address that I remember as a kid. A double-decker bus. You probably all know what that is from Harry Potter. You know, the
Yeah.
double-decker buses.
Mm-hmm.
You're going past. There's 6 windows on the top, 3 windows at the bottom, and 1 in the bottom on the very corner. And in each of the windows, there's infamous people in them windows, just staring at me in each window. And in the very bottom window on the right hand side, there's like a window what's like blacked out with like a silhouette of a person in that window. And all it is him doing his finger, beckoning me to go over to the bus.
What that sounds like to me is that would be your brother telling you to let go. But also, you know, I don't know exactly, you know, all my anxiety stems from the fear of death. And I don't know if that's similar to you, but it potentially could be him saying that you might have to let go of that fear, and that fear might not be so bad. Not that you should come to him right away, but that...
yeah, but why on the bus? Every window, the 5 up the top, the ones at the bottom, bar the black silhouette one, are all infamous people. You know, bad people from history.
That could be that you feel within yourself that you blame yourself for not being there. But at the same time, like me hearing your story, I don't blame you at all. But you might, you know, have some internal guilt.
Oh, I have. Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely, 100%.
I think your brain is telling you that you belong on that bus. But as well as with anxiety, you know, our brain is lying to us, and that might be lying to you as well.
But that dream reoccurs every night when I sleep. When I get to sleep, I should say.
Are you able to walk around when you... Are you conscious when you're in this dream and then are able to walk around and interact with it? Or is it like you're watching it happen?
I'm standing at the bedroom window on the top 2nd floor, just looking out of my window, and the cars are going past, and all of a sudden the bus goes past on a very, very slow speed. Literally crawling.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just don't want to. People say to me, well, carry on dreaming it, see what happens. But I don't know if it's a fear that I'm going to die in it. I don't know. I don't honestly know. It just wakes me up startled. And that's when everything starts in my head. That a 50-year-old bloke, when I get into a state like that, I end up pacing around the house at night.
So these
Lying
infamous...
in the corner, you know what I mean? Like a 50-year-old bloke turning into like a 5-year-old child. I end up running to a corner in the house and just crying like a fucking baby. I apologise for my swearing.
No, you're good.
You know what I mean? A noise. I hear a noise outside. And this, I think I've said this before to somebody, but I don't know who. I feel like quarter of the man I used to be. You know what I mean? If you would have known me 20 odd years ago, you would not believe the person I was. You would not believe the person I was. I used to work the doors. I used to do security. Do you know what I mean? I would never back down from nothing. I would always defend anybody. even if I knew I'd get a complete hammering, I wouldn't back down. But now I hear footsteps at night walking past the house. I'm like a pussy. I'm crying in the fucking corner. The sweat is pissing off me. I know everybody can relate to it. I know everybody can. But I think the problem is, in my heart, I feel so like a wimp. And it's just, I just think psychologically it's just buggered me right up.
I mean, I understand that. I feel like me growing up, I had the same, ideas to protect women and to be the man and to, be the one who works and provides and take care of. And, I haven't been able to do that. And since I've been with my wife, she's been the one to take care of me. And so I definitely feel like I'm less of a man and, I'm not doing my part. And there's a lot of shame in there too. But I still want to talk about this dream.
Yeah, by all means.
Because it's a dream that you have every single day. And
well, no, not every single day. Every time I sleep.
Every time you sleep.
Yeah. As I say, I can go. I have been known for 4 or 5 days not to sleep. And I've been walking around like a zombie.
Well, there's 2 things to that. One is we got to figure out this dream. And 2, you're always going to have anxiety if you are not getting sleep. So defeating this dream might be the first thing you're going to have to do. And I think that, in my personal experience and everything I've ever heard of agoraphobia and anxiety is you have to face the fear to defeat it. And it sounds like you're afraid of this bus, but, you might have to, if you can, while you're in the dream. First of all, this sort of goes with what I'm trying to do right now, and I may have talked to you about this before, but, while you're in a dream, if you can become aware in it, you can do anything. You could turn that bus into a clown truck, if you can become conscious in it, and that's really hard to do. But potentially you could do it while you're awake, and imagine that bus and that dream for, everything you could possibly see within the dream. And maybe you need to go inside. And what it says to me is like, you said there are bad people in that bus, and
Yeah.
the people in that bus think you belong in there. And I think that tells me that you have a lot of guilt, and you think that you're bad, and maybe that, you hate yourself for being agoraphobic, and you just belong in with everybody else. But I honestly think, from everything you've told me, protecting women or whatever, you dealt with so much abuse and took it. And I've thought that as well. I had a bipolar girlfriend that would hit me, and I just took it, and I would never ever hit back. And I could only imagine for how long that could last to break you down. And for me, you're just telling me like a hero's tale. Like, everyone shits on the hero the whole time. Like, the hero has a hard life. And I don't know, there's some really good symbolism with your dream and your story of how, at the beginning of your life, or your early life, your dad burned that into your brain that you have to protect women. And ultimately that thought, not that you should have, hit back, but just that you felt like you had to take it. And, that same person made you break the promise that that meant most to you in life, and saw your strong, big baby brother. You saw strength be ripped away from you. And it seems like you've been broken down in almost every single way, and you within yourself just belong on that bus with all those terrible people. But from my experience with you, I know I've only known you a short time, but every time anyone's in that chat who needs help, you're the guy who offers to help anybody. And as you said before, you wouldn't take anything from anybody. You would always try to do the right thing. And I think that's still within you. Obviously you're doing it in the only way you really can from your house as far as like talking to people and trying to help people. But I really think, you know, for me, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to think of all the things that I want to do, and also just harness. I think hate is strong, and you've probably heard me say these things before, and fear is strong, but I really think like love and courage is stronger, and I think there's a lot of love within you, and I think you need to try to forgive yourself. You know, I think the wife situation and not being able to be there for your brother, that wasn't your fault. You were tricked, you know, you were lied to. And when you got there wasn't this big catastrophe. You just happened to be married to an evil person at the time, and that had nothing to do with you. Like, that's not your fault. And, you know, I'm sure for a long time you thought that you were insane, that no one else could think these things. And because I know you've talked to me and told me, you know, it's crazy to think how many people think the way we do, but I'm here to say that there is a way out of that, and it's not, you know, feet first outside your door. It's head first and heart first, and I think you can do it. I really believe in you. Like, I wish I could beat my agoraphobia and fly out there and sit with you in your garden until we get to your gate and just start making fun of people walking by, because
You know, I believe that. I believe that.
I really would.
Yeah, I do. I honestly, I do. I know you're genuine. I know you. I can tell a bullshitter.
I'd be a pretty good bullshitter, huh? If that were the case.
I know you're genuine. I do know you. I know all the groups genuine. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have been so loving and so caring. As I said to you, I said to you in the past in a conversation, I feel like a ghost on the page, if you remember.
Right.
And I'm worried about coming across, you know what I mean, as being one of these peculiar blokes. I don't mean that by any other. I don't think there's any blokes on the group that are peculiar, but you women, you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you show caring to somebody, they think there's an ulterior motive where there's not. You know what I mean? I don't know, since I've had my condition, my empathy has grown so much. And when I speak to people on the group or the chat, and they say they've been agoraphobic for a year, 2 years, 3 years, I've got to fight their corner. I've got to fight their corner. I do not want them to become complacent like I did. And if I can help one of those people get out of that rut, I tell you, I would move heaven and earth to help that one person. Because I tell you something now, agoraphobia is not a pleasant thing, as you all know. You live in a prison. You live in complete isolation. Even the people around you that love you, if you're lucky enough, are not really understanding what is actually going on in your mind. Agoraphobia, I would say, is one of the worst mental health complaints going. And I'm not saying it because I'm suffering with it. It's not just the fear of going outside. There is so much under that umbrella that goes in with agoraphobia. You can't access medical help. If you're feeling unwell, you can't see a doctor. You've got to live with physical pain as well as mental pain. I remember chatting to someone on the group about teeth. I won't say the person's name, but they lived in agony for months with teeth problems. If you're a normal Joe, you can go to your local dentist or go to your local quack and get things sorted. When you're agoraphobic, you've got to sit and lay in pain. And I mean excruciating pain.
I could
and there's
definitely,
nothing.
I could definitely relate to that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I cracked my tooth a few months ago. One of my canines, it's like half gone, and I should definitely get it pulled out. And you know, most of my teeth are pretty messed up, and I can only chew in a very small section in my mouth without causing extreme pain. And yeah, I definitely relate to that.
So if this can help one person conquer their agoraphobia, because I'll tell you something now, if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, will you ever go out of this property? My truthful answer to you would be, no. I would go out feet first in a wooden overcoat. But I persevered with it. I went on a group chat once with yourself and a couple of other people, and I felt absolutely brand new. I did. I felt like I was talking to friends, and I was so relaxed. That was my first step. My second step was doing the group conference, which I would totally recommend to anybody. But that was one step too far for me. For me. With so many people on that page, on that group video chat, was just overwhelming for me. But you remember, I've been agoraphobic for so long, and social isolation with 8, 9 people, even though it's on a video link, it's still overwhelming for me. That was like a normal Joe climbing up a mountain, free climbing. That's how it felt like to me. And I managed to do 40, 45 minutes of it, I believe.
Yeah.
And I look at that as a positive. I do look at that as a positive. Thing is, I listen to people, and I do take heed of what people say to me. I do. And I do see light now. I do see light. And I think doing this is my third step.
Well, I want you to know, man, that if you allow us to, we'll be here every step of the way. And you're saying that, you know, you would move heaven and earth for anybody going through anything, really.
Yeah.
I think that you know, number one is like a lot of us, especially the agoraphobics, with the social isolation, you just existing, you just saying, hey, you're okay and I'm here, that's enough. And I obviously know you would move mountains for people, so you're willing to do everything you possibly can. But another part of that, you know, and it's not a rush or anything, but I want you to find that sort of love for yourself too, because think of how much more you could do if you could get out. And I want you to use that as a motivation, because you know what it's like. And I do think it's sort of your destiny to get out of that garden and tell people your story, tell everyone you can, find people like us, and I'm here to help you do it. You know, I want you to stick with me, because your story is important, and you're fucking awesome. You're one of my fucking favorite people in there, and I don't care what anybody says about you. You're awesome, and you know, I think the thing
is, I will not abandon this group. I will not abandon this group. There was no way I will abandon this group. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had some lovely people on this group. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not mentioning no names or pinpointing anybody, but they know who they are, who have messaged me, shown me love, understanding, asked me to come back on the group chat. And you know something, I am overwhelmed, and I do mean this from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. I do. I love you all. You really do. I haven't seen this for such a long time. I haven't, and that's the God's honest truth. I haven't.
Well, we love you. We love you too,
I
man.
feel so overwhelmed with it all. I really do.
We're
I really
connected to
do.
you in a very strange way. You know, we know your heart. We've seen it. We've been there.
I feel like the granddad of the group.
Yeah. I think with your social anxiety, I think there should be some good comfort in there, knowing that, you know, you haven't been in there very long, but you've already made such an impact, and like people want you to be around.
It's because my empathy grows in there. You know what I mean? It does. It just races out of me. If I hear of anybody feeling sad or down or just wants to chat, I drop everything, and I'll say, inbox me. I'll talk to you. I'll even talk to you on here. I don't mind spamming the whole bloody page and keeping all you yanks up. I don't care. I do not care. If I can help somebody, I will. Because what people don't realise is, when I'm helping you, I'm helping myself. Because when I'm thinking about you and conquering your fears and helping you get through your day, secondly, you're helping me forget about my troubles, and I'm having an easier day, not worrying about mine. So really, I should be saying thank you to you lot for helping me.
That's how I feel. I mean, I use it a lot to avoid, which is obviously a bad thing with us agoraphobics, but at the same time, if I'm successful in helping someone and they tell me that, that puts positive into me, and there's always so much negative in us that, you know, positive and love is the only way to fight back. I really do think if there was someone at the end of your gate, you know, that needed your help, you'd break through it. And I think you need to try to channel that love that we know is all there. It's hard to do, but I keep saying it all the time. I think the only way out of this is to, you know, follow your heart or channel love and courage, and I think there's a lot of that in you.
Oh yeah, I know there is. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Since I've been the way I am, it has escalated so much. You know what I mean? It just radiates off me now. Absolutely radiates off me. I don't know if it's because my emotions are raw. I don't know. But even when I talk to someone for a couple of minutes, I don't know what it is, but I get their story. I'm not saying I've got a sixth sense. I'm not saying that. I don't believe in all that bollocks. But I home in on people. You know what I mean? There's certain individuals that I've spoken to in private messages, sorry, that I'm drawn to. And I just let them talk and I listen. And that's my reward, to make sure everything's get better. As I said to you before, and I don't remember when it was, but I remember saying it. The people that are talking, brilliant. But I do worry about the people that are not talking, who are just breezing through. Because I think they're hurting just as much, but not expressing themselves.
And I think all we can do is just make sure they know it's whenever they're ready or wanting, that it's a safe and, you know, comforting place.
Yeah. It is a lovely place. Absolutely lovely. Yeah.
Now, I did actually write down 2 questions for you that I haven't asked.
Okay.
I feel like the majority of this has just been super deep, but I might ask you some basic questions.
By all means.
What do you what are all your like major triggers? Obviously, you know, me, it's like getting in the car, going too far away, or being alone. But at the same time, you know, it can be set off by anything at all times. But I'm wondering your big ones.
Right. Loud noises. Noises. If anyone's coming round to my property, certain things I hear are triggers. I don't know. I think that's about it, really.
Do you think when you hear these people coming around or hear loud noises that something's coming after you?
Yes and no, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'll get very jumpy, very jumpy. You know what I mean? Even when my son comes round, and I could be sitting in the living room, and I'm sitting on the couch or the chair, and he just turns up at there. I jump out the bloody skin. Do you know what I mean? I always seem on edge. Always seem on edge with everything. Let's say days I manage. Days are okay for me on a whole. They are okay. But nights is the killer for me. Nights. But then everyone can relate to that.
I actually like the night. Most people that I talk to don't like it, but I think it's peaceful. I spent most of my life staying up late playing video games, and you know, sometimes it's nice to know that everyone's asleep and it's just me and quiet.
You know what I mean? I remember a psychiatrist saying to me, he said to me, if I could give you one wish, what would it be? And I remember turning round to him, and I said to him, I want to be on a desert island, just me and my dogs at the time. No one around, no electrical devices, nothing. Just be like, I don't know, Tarzan or whatever, just on my own, just on my own, with no outside influences. You know what I mean? I know I won't never see my children or my grandchildren, but just be in complete isolation. I reckon I said this to somebody on the group. I don't know who, but I said it to someone. I think we are not made to be together with people. I think isolation. If you go back pre-age, back to this Stone Age and all that, we all used to live separately. And I still stand by that. I don't think we should be together. People, I don't know. I would be happy as a hermit.
The only thing I can say to that is, it seems to me that like solitary confinement is sort of a torture, and like I've only ever wanted to, you know, be around people that, you know, I enjoy or love, and I would say, you know, for you have this urge to be around people that you can, you know, potentially help or make feel better, and I don't know if isolation's the way to go. It could be because you might not like where you are now, but I wouldn't want you to be in a desert island.
No, I'm saying how I used to when I spoke to this psychiatrist years ago. He said, if you had one wish, what would it be? A normal Joe would say, I want to get better and live a happy life. Mine was to be in complete isolation.
Do you think that's because you think of yourself as a burden or not worthy of people back then when you said that?
1 billion%.
Yeah.
1 billion%. Do you know something? That's what I said to you. I said I feel like a ghost, and I will clarify on that. Do you know what I mean? I always think the worst. I think if I say something, because I can talk perfectly, like as I am talking to you. I'm talking perfectly. But when I get stressed out or anxiety kicks in, I start speaking in tongues. I think you encountered that on that meeting.
I think you sounded fine, but yeah.
No, I did think I come across a bit of a dip, but there you go. Where was I going? I've lost my bloody thread now.
I think you were saying when you get anxious, it's harder to talk.
Yeah. And sorry. And when I was on the group chat, I remember saying to you, I feel like a ghost sometimes. Because I don't want to say the wrong thing to offend anybody and to be hated and disliked. I remember saying that to you because I felt like a ghost.
How do you feel now with all those people messaging you?
But now, yeah, it's true, sir. Absolutely, I feel completely different. Completely different. I was proved 100% wrong, and when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. I say I'm wrong.
There's some good people in the world. There's a lot of love out there, and
there is.
I'm really happy we found you, or you found us, or however it worked, and I hope that we can continue proving you wrong. I'm sure when you first started talking at all, you might have had that same fear, but like I keep saying, you've definitely made an impact, and people love you. I do. I mean, I'm so happy we found you.
Oh yeah. I've got to say that the people on that chat are so accommodating. They're beautiful people, absolutely beautiful people. Do you know what I mean? And I tell you, I will fight any of your backs, and I will protect you to the hill.
What do you think Absolutely. You would say to someone who, just random in the chat, would be panicking or being anxious, and what do you think you would tell them to potentially calm them down?
Well, I would talk to, as I'd always do, I'd talk to them as a human being. I would find out what the problem is. I would do the freeze. I would do, there's lots of things I do. It all depends on what the circumstances are. You can tell if someone's generally panicking or just having an anxiety attack or just having a bad day. It all depends on the situation.
Would you tell them that they were okay? Like, you're okay?
No, I never say it. No.
Or you're gonna be okay, something like that.
Yeah, because at the time when you're talking to someone who's suffering with stress, anxiety, depression, or whatever, they're not okay. They're fighting their own demons in their own mind. And the last thing you want to be is patronising to them.
Right.
So I do a lot of diversion therapy. And then before you know it, they disclose anything that they want to disclose, and then you can just build on that. And then before you know it, you come into the root of the problem. And then you just find things to help the situation. You know what I mean? I talk to a number of people on private message. Do you know what I mean? I'm not naming no names. That's not my place to do that. But I talk to a number of people, and I can say it's over 12, might be about 15, 16 people, I'm not sure, who I speak to privately. And I must be doing something right because they do text back, so.
I usually tell people that they're okay. I mean, I try to distract them as well, but I find myself trying to tell them that, they're strong and they've been through this before and that they're going to be okay.
Yeah, let's say 99% of the time, it's a cry for help. It is a cry for help, and we've all do it. We all do it.
Yeah.
We're human. We are human. But there's always that 1% that could be the one that you save.
Right.
And God willing, I do. God willing. Or any of us, because I've seen so much. You know what I mean? If someone says they're having a down day, they just get inundated with messages on the board, which is lovely. Absolutely lovely. And to see that support, it does raise that bar a little bit higher. And you feel you're not on your own. You're not on your own. There's someone there who will talk to you. If it's a subject that I'm not comfortable of dealing with, I had an instance the other day, and I was speaking to this individual from the group, and it was a subject that I couldn't deal with a clear mind. But I knew someone within the group that would handle the situation far better than I. So I messaged this individual, and they were happy to deal with the situation, and hopefully there was a happy outcome of it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times where someone will tag me in, or I'll actually tag in a couple other people. It is nice to be able to do that, know everybody's strengths and.
Oh yeah. I've sort of got the crux of it all now with the group, of who's approachable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is some very, very caring people on that chat. Some very caring people on that chat. As I say, I'm not naming no names because I'm not pinpointing anybody, but they know who they are.
When you talk to people that you're used to talking to in there, or maybe you've helped them multiple times, are you confident in the idea that they will end up being okay, or that, you know, they're going to calm down? Or
well, I do and I don't, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? When I'm talking to somebody, I've talking to people on there on private chat for a couple of hours, and I come off the phone and I mull things over, think, are they all right? And you know what I mean? I think that's human nature. But I do hope and pray that everybody finds what they're looking for. I really do.
I was trying to get you to say a certain thing. I was trying to get you to say that you do think or tell people that they're going to be okay. And it sounds like you don't, because, you know, usually I do. I tell people that they're going to be okay. You know?
I do not tell people what to think. I do not. You can't tell people what to think. They've got to think for themselves.
Right.
They've got to think for themselves. The only way you'll win a battle is by fighting the battle for yourself. You can help, you can ask for people to help you, but fundamentally, it's down to the individual. They've got to conquer that fear, as you've said yourself, taking that one step out the front gate. I can ask for help, but fundamentally, it's got to be down to me to make that one step.
Yeah.
So really, it's got to work for other people as well. You know what I mean? I will be there. I've got a very big ear. You know what I mean? I can talk for Britain. I can talk for Britain. And I can speak pony, I can speak crap. You know what I mean? I can do whatever, you know what I mean? I will talk to anybody. If I can make them come off that chat feeling happier than what they started that chat, I feel I've done what I was meant to be doing now.
I think so too. I have one other basic question for you.
Okay.
What sort of symptoms do you get when you experience anxiousness or panic?
I get irritable bowel, stomach, which all goes hand in hand with anxiety. I get a lot of stress headaches, which I've remedied, which I told you what I do.
Right.
And just get an overwhelming feeling of complete sadness, dread, just so much negative. That was like my little burst yesterday, I believe, when I deleted myself off the chat. That was just me being an arsehole.
Well, we're not gonna let you get away with that. We're gonna reel you back in if we can.
I said to you, I would come on here and I will be honest. I done that purely because I felt so down, depressed. I felt isolated. You know what I mean? I put something on the chat. I remember it as clear as day, and I did thank the girl, and it's on there. So I thanked Chelsea. I didn't want to chat about medical. I just wanted to chat bollocks about the weather. Just someone to talk to. Hello, how are you? What's the weather like? What time is it? Just someone to talk to. Chelsea talked to me and sent me a couple of pictures of her in her back garden, and I thanked her. That's, you know what I mean? That's what I wanted. And then I got off my phone, sat in the living room, and I just felt so down. And of course, I do what I normally do. You know, pig ignorant me. Went to the phone, clicked on the leave group, and left group. I do this. I am what you all are, your own worst enemies. You know what I mean? This thing you've got in your head is your worst fucking enemy. This thing in your head plays so many tricks on you, plays games with you, and makes you do things that you don't want to do.
How did you feel after you did? Was it a good feeling, or did you regret it immediately when you left?
Truthfully, I regretted it immediately. Truthfully, I did. Yeah, I did. But as I said, I'm pig ignorant. I thought, that's it, end of story. But I said I will not leave the Facebook page. I'm not going to do that, because I might not be able to put my input in on the chat, but I can still put positive things up on the wall. I think that's partly the reason why yesterday I spanned the wall yesterday.
I had a lot of people message me when you left, and yeah, man, you're important to us. I'm sure you got a lot of messages. I know we've talked about that, but people were messaging me as soon as it happened. What happened to Steve? What the hell? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll message him too.
No. Do you know something? I had loads of messages from people. Loads of messages. And it was nice. It's like, I thought it was a lovely touch. And I'll tell you what really got me. And I did have a tear in my eye, and that's me being a pussy now, right? I haven't got a big friend circle. But to be honest with you, I haven't got no friends. really, really, because I isolate myself. But yesterday, I got a friend request, and it was from Quasi,
Yeah, he's a good guy.
and you know something, it 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 it, it, it,
Touched your heart.
it was not. It was nice. It was nice.
I'll be honest with you
So,
too, man. All these people, these are my only friends as well.
nah, you've got a lovely group here, mate. You've got a lovely group. Do you know something? And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You might have a lot of fighting going on in your lives, but this group is a positive move. Because I'll tell you something now, I wouldn't be the way I am now, as I sit here now, if it wasn't for this group. Because I'll tell you, I've changed my mindset. I have changed my mindset. I have.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I hope one of us goes to the other and we can have a cup of tea, a proper cup of tea. I've never had one. Whether that be me coming to you or you coming to America, it's gonna happen in our life. I'm gonna make sure it does.
Oh, I did tell you, it's on my bucket list to go to America.
Yeah, it's all falling into place.
Yeah, it will. Do you know what I mean? Thank you, Mike. I really do, honestly, appreciate everything you've done and given me the opportunity to speak.
As I say to, a lot of people think of themselves as a burden, and I tell everybody the same thing, that, just like you, helping other people helps me, so none of them are burdens. They're gifts, same as you. You help me. If I can help you at all, if I can help anybody at all, it helps me. And I know that's the same for you.
Yeah. Thank you. You don't know how much that means, how much that means to me.
Well, we're in the same boat. And, maybe when we beat our agoraphobia, we'll meet halfway on an island in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
We'll see.
As I say, I do see light now. I do see light. Yes, the other night, I done something very silly. And I understand that. But after, and with the love that I saw yesterday, I reckon someone intervened that night. Not just my dog, but something intervened there.
I'm not actually religious. I'm agnostic. Just I don't know, yeah. But I do think that the world is I don't know. Existence itself is so unlikely to be happening that there has to be some sort of magical component to the world. I have no idea what it is.
But I do think something intervened the other day.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Same thing that made you find the group.
True.
Same thing that is probably going to do a lot of things and has done a lot of things. I think bad things happen so good things can, so you can appreciate them. And I feel like, people like you will appreciate them to the fullest.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, imagine there are any fags you smoke when you do things like these.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Do you know something?
Hmm.
I feel brand new, and that's being truthful.
Well, that's good. I
I
hope
do.
that.
I do. I feel brand new.
Well, I hope that means I can add you back to the chat. I mean, you don't have to come back, but we'll all miss you. Not that we can't see your posts, but
Yeah. No, I do. I feel like a weight has just been taken off me. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
well, that's good to hear, man.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. I really do appreciate it.
Of course, man.
For my own benefit.
Anytime you want to do something like this, anytime you need anything, you just let me know.
No,
Us agoraphobics don't have a very busy schedule, so.
no, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. Far from it.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to ask me, or is that it? I told you I'm an open book.
I'm curious if there's anything you can think, that we could do for you. Or what potentially helps you. Like, I know that, in my opinion, your sleep might be one of the biggest factors with your anxiety, because it's almost impossible to feel good if you're tired or exhausted. And
Yeah, but the thing is, I've always not been a good sleeper anyway, ever since adolescence, where I used to do night work, working on doors. Do you know what I mean? I never used to finish till 4, 5 in the morning, go back to bed, and then be up by 9, 10 o'clock to go back to, you know what I mean, go and do something else.
so do you think your body is used to the night, but you're afraid of the night? So you want to be asleep during the night, but you can't?
Thing is, as I said to someone before, my mind is like a computer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm continuously, my brain's continuously active. I'm thinking of multiple things. It's funny, really. It's when I've been talking like onto you on this chat now. I've been thinking of things, what I can do for my next post on the group, on the Facebook page.
That's good.
I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, that I'm not taking heed and listening what you have. I'm like, I think I've got, they say about women are very multifunctional.
Yeah.
More than men. I'm like that in my head. I always analyse things. I'm always mulling things over. You know what I mean?
It's that OCD. I got it too, yeah. Our mind's always racing.
Yeah. And the easiest way to explain it, it's like a computer. Like it is like a computer. Yeah, it is a computer. But, I don't know if you remember the old, back years ago, you used to get the cassette recorders. We used to put the tape in and push play.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when you used to push fast forward? And it used to go like that?
Yeah.
That's what my brain's like.
Well, you gotta...
Continuously.
If I don't have something to focus on that I really like and can take me a long time, then I'm always just racing. So, for me, that's the group. I'm constantly talking to people, constantly trying to bring more people in, constantly doing these podcasts, constantly what else can I do? Help all these people, whatever. So that's my cure to my racing thoughts. And feel free to use the group as a canvas and make as many posts or do as many things as you want. Like, I wouldn't, I don't know if you saw on the group, but I actually went live the other day and went to the park. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, I did like it. I did watch it. I did watch it.
And if you want to walk to your gate and go live, I'll cheer you on, man. Like, do it. If you want, if you're comfortable. But, you could use this as your canvas.
It will happen. It will happen. But I can't promise that yet.
No, yeah. It's all baby steps. But, anything you can think of, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want in this group. Post anything, Get creative. I know.
As I say, I would always be polite. I would always be respectful, but I will never be rude. But sometimes I've got a habit of saying things that might come across as being rude or disrespectful, but they're not. Because I was picked up one day from yourself on a post, and I hope the people I'm going to mention do not take offence by it, because it's not meant to be on an offensive basis. There was an incident on the group chat when a girl was crying out, I believe. I can't remember the full circumstances, but something had happened, and I addressed Crystal as what's her name? That Indian nun, Mother Teresa of our group chat.
Right.
And you come back and said,
no, we're all heroes. Yeah.
We're all heroes. And Crystal come back and done a voicemail and saying it was all heroes. I wasn't doing that to pinpoint anybody. I was just trying to bring in a bit of laughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's important to
just a bit of.
Yeah.
It wasn't meaning to be disrespectful. It's same as what I addressed. What's her name? I can't think of her name now. But another girl on the chat, she was saying about what she had done that night before, and I addressed her as the Lady of the Lamp of Australia. The Lady of the Lamp.
I've never heard of it, but I imagine it's something good.
Yeah, it was. Oh no, it's nothing. You know what I mean? The same as when I said about Crystal being like the Mother Teresa. It wasn't meant to be in a horrible way.
Right.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
It's a compliment. If I see people on that chat or the group that I think are going above and beyond, I will pin it. I will pin it.
I think it's important to recognize people, that are doing it, whatever it is that they're doing. If they're doing good, they should know they're doing good. A lot of us feel negative all the time. Yeah.
That they're doing something positive for somebody else. You know what I mean? And we're all. I understand what you meant by that. We're all heroes. We're all fighting a battle. We're all doing. You know what I mean? We've all got our own wars to fight.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that I thought how Crystal handled that situation on the group chat, I wanted to give her a round of applause for how she handled it. That's all I'd done it for. So if I come across like things like that, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way.
No, of course. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I do it as a praise, because sometimes when people say something and it's good, I will say it's good. If I don't agree with something, I will not say nothing. I will just keep a back seat.
Right.
I will just keep a back seat, and I won't say nothing.
Yeah,
if people do it, yeah.
I don't think I said that as like a correction. I was just more. I don't even know why I said it. I suppose I was thinking. I just want everyone to feel good. But I do agree. If someone does something exceptional, they should absolutely be praised for it to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I agree with that. I do agree. We're not all on here. We're not on here to boost our egos or make us stand out. We're not like that. We're doing it because we genuinely care.
Yeah.
For everybody. We genuinely care, because we're hoping that when we're in shit street, someone's going to come out and help us. And do you know something? I've seen that. I'm evidence of that. I've seen that. I'll tell you what I'd done the other night. was stupid, immature, but the love that I've seen from this group and chat has given me a different outlook. Oh, trust me, it fucking has. It really, really has.
Well, maybe you were supposed to do it so you could, you know, be able to prove that to yourself. You know, I'm gone, I'm away from these people, and, you know, that's that. But then, hey, wait, you know, people actually miss me. They're coming for me. So I didn't expect this. Yeah.
Do you know, I didn't. Honestly, I did not. And I could see in the way they were talking that they had genuinely cared.
Yeah. Well,
And I take my hat off to everyone. I really do.
Well, you're more than what you think you are.
I said to Anthony texted me last night, and I asked him, could he put something up on the wall for me to thank everybody? And you know what I mean? You've all been lovely. You've all been absolutely lovely. And that's, you know what I mean? You say about all this brother and sister lark, but truthfully, I love you all as brother and sisters.
Same here.
Yeah.
Well, if you have anything else, that's all the questions I had written down from your story. I think at the beginning I went really deep, you know, with trying to navigate your dream, so I was pretty focused on that. But if you had anything else, I'm more than happy to hear it.
No, I do. I think that's all I can remember at the moment, because, you know what I mean, my mind's all over the place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to do it again, and, you know, you know that we all appreciate you, and I've been loving the posts you made, and I've had people read them to me. That poem that you wrote, Nicole, she read it to me, and she was like, God damn, I'm screenshotting that one. So, you know, you're appreciated, and, you know, you let me know if you want to come back into that group chat. But I think it's awesome for you to tell your story, and I hope that you continue with us. And, you know, I think it's inevitable that we're going to find people that, you know, we will save lives. A lot of people don't have anybody, and that's our destiny, I think, at least. You know, going through what we've gone through, and trying to make sure no one else has to, or at least knowing that they're not alone in it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. I do appreciate it.
No problem, man.